Om Saraswati Namaha. Om Saraswati Namo. Om Saraswati Namo. Howdy, neighbors. I am really excited to be introducing the new Monroe style improvising course. This has grown totally organically over the last 3 or 4 months as I've been teaching the Monroe style improvising courses every Friday through Zoom with David McLaughlin. Okay, so we started looking at these devices in the beginning. We're looking at staggered 16th notes, we're looking at slidey licks, we're looking at bounce licks, and we're looking at this thing called the infinity shape, which is a pattern that will help you figure out the fingerboard. It's very efficient and it all interlocks with everything that we're doing. And so these are the things that we explored in the very beginning with fiddle tunes and some of Monroe's common repertoire like Big Mun and Salt Creek and stuff like that. And then we got right on into Own and Own, and we just like looked at it note for note pretty much, and then explored breaking it apart to see how he's using devices that are modulated depending on what the tune is, depending on what the rhythm is. And so basic kind of language that you can say in many different ways to mean lots of different things depending on the feel of the tune, easily modulated to different keys, to different tempos, to different major, minor key signatures, things like that. So I've been studying this stuff since I was probably, really seriously, since I was about 13 years old. I really got into it. My dad's a magnificent Monroe style player, and we get into some of his music, and he helps us a lot. And I was also fortunate to grow up with David McLaughlin in Winchester, Virginia, and he played in my parents' band before I was old enough to play guitar. And so I learned a lot from David and continue to learn from David. And then last year, I started studying Monroe note for note to really dig into the microscopic details of what he's doing, slowing everything down with more advanced ears, as I feel like I've been able to hear more lately. Pushing 40 years old, and that's how it is with this music. It's like an onion. Every layer unpeels, and it's like you hear a new note. It's like, oh, I heard one more new note this year, and then, oh, four more the next year. I never heard these little triplets there. And so you can, really have fun as the journey expands within your own awareness. And so what we're doing is we're codifying these devices in a way that you can find a way in without having to, having to listen to thousands of hours of music to kind of get an understanding about the topography, about the dynamics, about the compositional and textural limits and restraints and advantages and evolutions and all that kind of stuff. Bill's style changed so much from where he played with the Monroe Brothers into the early Flat and Scruggs stuff, and then on into the more ancient tone stuff of the 70s and 80s. It's just magnificent, the breadth with which he continued to compose till his last day, basically. And so we're looking for a way in. For most folks, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a big mountain. It seems insurmountable in some ways. And it's really hard to learn the music correctly, almost impossible. I would say it's virtually impossible to learn it from paper. And so what we're doing is all by ear. We're humming it. We're getting to know it by heart so it stays with you. I can't tell you how many people have been like, oh man, the stuff that I learned by ear sticks with me. The stuff that I learned by tab, not so much. And you really never get the sound right anyway if you're constantly immersing yourself in the sound of the music as you're learning it rather than a piece of paper that ultimately you're going to have to just discard anyway. And you don't sit around with pieces of paper and play this kind of music. Folk music and bluegrass music, and Monroe himself said that, he didn't study music, from paper, and he learned it all by ear. And he also said that, the best way to learn his music was by ear. I believe he told John Hartford that. And so these are some of the things that we're considering as we're moving through this course. So we got into the fiddle tunes, we got into Own and Own, Can't You Hear Me Calling, Why Did You Wonder? It's just amazing how early on he opened up this whole huge improvisational game at rapid paces and tempos that had never been done before. And just to think that, 60, 70 years later, we're still thinking about it and it's still blowing our minds, but now we have more of a way in with technology. And so one of the things that I've provided with this course are really nice, what I think of as a really nice practice track. So instead of playing to just click, you got the nice D18 pumping out rhythm behind you, and it's all metronomic, and so we go from this speed to that speed to the next speed, and I'll demonstrate, and then you can have time to play by yourself, and so it's all very organized in that way. This is one of the things that we discovered about halfway through, how to transmit the knowledge and the tunes, and to get to know the tunes in a really organized fashion. So you have everything that you need to listen to, fast and slow. You have the practice tracks. You have me explaining stuff over and over again, very meticulously, as much as I can. You know, some people, you know, will get it the first time, and some people really need to hear it about 10 times. And so I know that. I need to hear it 10 times. I need to, what was that? It's so complicated with the pick strokes and the arpeggios and everything. So we go very slowly, note for note sometimes. Sometimes you're on your own listening, and then it's up to us ultimately to synthesize it within our own selves and our own creativity to find that perfect blend and balance and flavor of what we're trying to express, which is probably constantly changing. And so I'm really excited to introduce this course, and it's on sale for $199, and it's going to be on regular price in about a month for $250. So get in early and you can get $50 off. And also check out the note for note complete set, which is $200. It's 64 gigabytes of downloadable note for note Monroe tunes, some of the classic stuff, tons of the really Mandaluminati Monroe freak kind of favorites like Old Dangerfield and Ebenezer Scrooge and Come Here There to Go Yonder and Jeepers Dusty Miller, Southern Flavor, Tennessee Blues. It goes on and on and on. So thanks for listening, and we hope that you will check out this preview video and see what some of the folks have to say about it. Here we go. So check this out. Now it's time for you to incorporate these things, these little modules that I've shown you, into the rhythm of these different tunes the best you can. And I wonder if she ever thinks of me. Here we go. Go. How can I roll when the wheels won't go? Here we go, sliding. Today we're looking at blues stuff in G. A lot of this starts with Mule Skinner blues. Okay, so the kickoff, on the guitar, you're still doing, it's just like, it's that and many variations on the mandolin, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's always good to be kind of, aware of a lyrical phrasing idea, because that's kind of what we're all trying to imitate, in a sense, the singing quality. Welcome to the practice video for the intermediate Monroe style improvising. You do it the other way. Come up through A, down through G, up through A, ending leg. So now what we want to do is add a little bit more of the melody shape in here, okay? A little bit faster now. We're not explaining as much stuff note for note, but hopefully you'll be able to understand and hear the modules as they're coming through. We've worked on most of this stuff, so that comes from being able to, kind of off the cuff, just whistle through a Monroe freestyle, kind of, in a jam session, just to feel comfortable in the pocket, playing the hits, the standards, the parking lot picking favorites is so powerful an experience, with the community and with the music. That's so good. Alright, for this particular lesson, we're going to be working hard on bluegrass breakdown. Talking about sliding around a little bit, talking about bounce licks. And here, we're going to talk a little bit about composition. we're thinking about the keys that Bill composed in the most. This is like the kind of the latter stage of listening and playing along and listening to where you've got it about 95%, but maybe a couple little notes are missing. See if you can have some fun with that, decoding it, doing it your way, and combining it with the modules that you already know. Throw some slideys in there, throw some bounce stuff in there. I really want y'all to just feel into this idea that these songs are for all of us. And Bill knew that these gospel songs could bring people together. They're easy to sing, they're beautiful melodies, and we can jam out on them, Monroe style. So we've talked so much about learning by ear, and we have to learn by ear. And so that's what I'm going to hope this exercise will lead us toward. Going to look at is a break that's constructed mostly of the pieces that we've been learning. It's the precision with which you play these downstrokes and do all these cool creative blues slides and stuff that really gives it the expression that's so interesting. Howdy neighbors, we're jumping right into the old Granite Hill here. That's the first part. Love that. All right, neighbors, so if this sounds fun, please join me at NoyaMountainMusic.com and we can start cracking the code together with the Monroe Style Improvising course, available August 1st, NoyaMountainMusic.com. Thanks, and we'll see you later.